What's up, family? I want to just welcome everybody to the Higher Society podcast. I go by the name of Joshua, and this is a milestone for us. This is the first time that we're doing this show. Actually in Buffalo. Like I said before, I go by the name of Joshua. I'm solo today. I'm missing my partners in crime, but either way, we'll get it done, and we'll just kick it and share some knowledge. I just want to start off by letting you know who I am. I am from Buffalo, New York. I'm 24 years old, so I'm a young guy just trying to make it on the come up here. But what this Higher Society podcast is about, man, is just elevating and having people think I'm on a different level from what they see every day. We know it can be a struggle, seeing what you see every day. And I grew up in Buffalo, so I know it's tough. But we want everybody in Buffalo to just elevate their thinking and just be the creatives that we know that they can be. And before we get into everything else, I want to give a huge shout out to David Allen, Mr. David Allen, for letting us use his studio. He's been great to us, and I can't wait to do more work with you. So I appreciate that. So Higher Society, man. Higher Society, it started about 4 years ago. Me and a few brothers started this Higher Society podcast back at SUNY Fredonia. We were back in school, and around that time, we didn't really know what the purpose of the show was. We just had an idea, and we were just very creative, and we just went along with it. And that was 4 years ago. And here we are 4 years later. 4 years later with the same idea, but now it has a purpose. And so I had to figure that purpose out as I went along and of my journey throughout school and coming back home. I just had to figure out what that purpose was. And Higher Society's purpose. We want everyone. We want everybody. Doesn't matter what race you are, how old you are. It does not matter. We just want everyone to understand that there is more to what they see. There's more to what they see in life. There's more to what they see every day. Like I said before, we just want to elevate minds. We want people to think differently. And we want people to chase after dreams, chase after goals. So that's our plan. Coming up with the purpose of the show, I was kind of skeptical because people don't really, tend to listen to a show that makes you think a lot. Our purpose is to make you think a lot. I come from a family background where church is very important and a relationship is very important. So we don't want to, make this a restriction on religion or anything like that. But if you do have a faith, we definitely want you to tune in. If you have ideas or any questions, you can follow me on Instagram at Higher Society. Ask questions. But this show is mainly about how can we bring our faith to social media? How can we change the narrative of social media? How can we reach those young people out there? So I was actually in church the other day. I kind of came in on the tail end of things, but my bishop, he was talking about how can we get in contact with the youth and make this generation better. And one of my main goals, and I feel like it's a priority of mine, is to help and outreach, because I do have that knowledge and I do have that fight within me to help. So I was also talking to one of my mentors, Mario Badger, and he asked me a question, and he asked me, do you think social media is the best way to go about reaching the youth and reaching the people and getting your point across? And we kind of disagreed on a point, because he said maybe it could, and I just went straight to no, it's not going to happen, because it's social media, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat. You got to go through all the booty pics, before you can get to the meaningful things. And I didn't think social media would be that perfect platform for it. I was hoping my partners in crime could help me out. I've been trying to figure it out. But I did come up with a few things in mind. Now, social media, it is a great outlet to reach the youth, to reach anybody in general. But you have to use it the right way. And I feel like we've lost our way in using social media. But if we do want to get our point across, that is the fastest way that we can get our point across. And we can't be afraid to use that platform to change things up. So what we want to do here is just use a platform on social media to just change and to figure out ways that we can reach the youth, so we can change minds and get people to to actually come out of their shells. I know in this generation a lot we tend to configure to the norm, and we want to be down and we want to be cool and everything like that. And trust me, I understand. I'll share my story in a few, but I definitely understand the need to be cool, be down, to be friends with people who are deemed cool, around the city, around the school, or wherever it is. But for myself, I kind of struggled with that as I went through college. Like I said before, man, faith is really important to me. And when I went away to school, I didn't lose my faith, but I kind of got disconnected from a lot of things. And so I wouldn't come back to Buffalo sometimes, when I know I should. And I just didn't have that, those certain people around me, to give me that confidence and, and to just fellowship with me, and my faith. And so kind of got, disconnected, and I was away. And in that time, I did struggle with my relationship with God, because I felt like I had to change completely to be who He wanted me to be. Now I know that it's not that way. But back then, which is not too long ago, I felt like I had to change who I was completely. And I couldn't be cool anymore. I couldn't be Joshua. I had to be a new Joshua. And in a sense that is true. But at the same time, I had to understand that, okay, I can be who I am and still, and still be who I was taught to be, who I was raised to be. And a lot of times I see a lot of people, I see it every day. I've seen it to close friends happen. They lose that relationship with God, or whatever faith you do have. You lose that relationship as you go away, because you're not in fellowship with the people who believe the same things you believe. And I thought I just had to lose my coolness. And in that, I found myself just drifting further and further away. But we just want to let people know that you don't have to drift away. You don't have to go away from what you know, what you love, in order to be, deemed cool or be successful. So we want to emphasize that to everyone. Like I said before, the younger generation we really want to get to, because they're coming up. They're coming up next, and they're going to be the ones who are taking over the city. So we want those youngins, just to be ready and prepared for a world that is crazy, and that can, definitely put some people down. So I also want to say as well that when we started this show about 4 years ago, for me, there was a necessary feeling that I had to reach people. So it wasn't just to be cool or, just have a podcast. There's a whole bunch of podcasts, that talk about music, sports, and, things in the news. But I felt like I had to reach people. I felt like I had to talk to people. I felt like I had that voice. And I felt like, people listened to me. But I was afraid as well, because, in trying new things, you never know if you're going to fail or not. But that's the risk that you have to take. To never try is to fail. So even if you fail, don't look at it as a loss. Look at it as a gain. Look at it as experience. So with that being said, with Higher Society, we just plan to take it to a next level, man. We want everybody to be involved. Like I said, if you don't have much information on Higher Society, you can always check us out, or check me out on Instagram. Look me up at Higher Society. You can get information. I do music as well, so I definitely won't leave you bored on my page, and this definitely won't be the only time that you hear from me through a podcast. So let's see here. Okay. So with that part, we can cut out dead air, right? Yeah, dead air.
You want to come back?
Yeah, I'm coming back.
Okay. Then it's how you do that. You say, welcome back.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Da, 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 da.
come back. But
And then go.
with that, so I'm gonna cut out the dead air, because I still do have one more topic before we go into the second part. But this is only like an intro.
Okay.
It's only like an intro thing, so we're not gonna do too much.
Right. Okay.
Because I don't have anybody here.
Do this. Start over again
Okay.
from the beginning, and then if you have to take a break, then move the around back much more right here.
Okay.
Inside our society.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. You ready?
So we going back to the beginning.
Yeah. One back to the beginning.
Okay.
5, 4, 3, 2.
Hey, what's up, family? This is Joshua. Welcome to Higher Society. I just want to give a huge shout out to David Allen for giving us the opportunity to record and also to share and kick it and just share knowledge with the people out there. Like I said before, I go by the name of Joshua, and this is a huge milestone for me. This is our first recorded episode, so we just want to just open up and give the people what we are about, what the purpose is about, and what we plan to do around the city of Buffalo. So my name is Joshua. I said it 3 times already, but so I am a resident of Buffalo. I grew up here my whole life. I'm 24 years old. I don't have my partners in crime here, but my friend Anita and also my friend Terrence McKissick are going to be joining me on the show as well, so expect to hear from them. So this whole Higher Society idea started about 4 years ago. So with Higher Society, when we started out, it was just me and a few of my brothers. And we didn't really know what direction we wanted to go in or what the purpose of the show was. So now here, 4 years later, just figuring everything out. The purpose of the show, for myself and what I wanted to start and what I wanted to share with people is that Higher Society is a listening show to where people can think and elevate their thinking outside of what they see every day. We tend to see what we see outside, and that is our thinking, and we stay stuck there. But the purpose of this show is to get people to think outside the box, to dream, to make goals, to set goals, to achieve those goals as well. So we just want everybody to tune in, to just listen and learn as well. So how did we get here? So like I said, we started this 4 years ago at school at SUNY Fredonia, and I didn't think we would still be doing this, honestly, doing a Higher Society podcast, but I think that because there was a purpose on the show, that's why it's still around, and we do want to get things going. So here at Higher Society, we want to get our message across to the younger generation, anybody in general, but we really want to reach the younger generation because the younger generation is growing up, and those are going to be the ones who who run the city, who run the businesses, and who are going to be in control of the town. So we want those youngins to be ready and prepared in order to take over and and be creative and things like that. So also with Higher Society, faith is real big behind this. Faith is real big behind our purpose and our idea. So I'm a Christian. I believe in Jesus Christ. So the purpose for me on this show is to get a message across to a lot of young people who are just like me, who grew up in the city of Buffalo, who see things that maybe they shouldn't have, maybe they shouldn't see, but they have, and also to let those kids know that believing in having a faith doesn't mean that you're different or you're awkward or you're socially awkward, but it just means that you have a faith and you feel like you have purpose. So I want those younger kids, and also anybody older than me who does feel like they have to fit into a category to just understand that they don't. So for myself, I'll just share my story. So as I went through college, I spent 5 years at SUNY Fredonia. So as I went through the motions, I kind of got disconnected with God. So I won't say I got disconnected with my faith because I always believed, but I kind of got disconnected just being away, not being able to fellowship with the people that I see weekly or every day. So it became tough. It became a strain on me, and the people I were around, without even noticing, I had to. I felt like I was trying to become something I wasn't. And it kind of messed with me because I knew who I was, and in the back of my mind, I always knew that I was purposeful. So I want every kid to know, or every adult to know, that if you do feel like like you have to fit in, you don't have to. You don't have to. You can be cool. You can keep the same demeanor. You can keep the same the same hobbies. But it's just certain things that you have to change. But you don't have to change yourself completely. And I felt like I had to change myself completely when we first started the Higher Society podcast. I felt like I had to change myself completely and be a whole new person. But we wanna just accept people for who they are. Whether you believe in Christ or whatever religion you do believe in, we want you to understand that you do fit in. You do fit in, and there's room for everybody, and there's room for success for everyone as well. So we want people to think like that as well. But before we get into too much detail, I just want to take a quick break, and we'll be right back, and we'll finish up on this Higher Society podcast and let you know more about what we will do and what the purpose is of this show. All right, cool. Hey, what's up, family? Welcome back to Higher Society podcast. We were just talking about faith, faith involved in this podcast. So we just want to stay on topic and just keep going with it. But before we do that, I just want to let anybody know who doesn't have our contact information. You can follow me on Instagram at Higher Society. Once again, that's Higher Society. If you just follow that page, you'll get a lot of information. I do music as well, so you'll be able to hear that as well. And if you do want to contact us by email, you can email me at pendergrass5@gmail.com. Right. So just to get back on topic here, so like I mentioned before, we're talking about faith associated with this podcast. And just a few days ago, I was just at a service. I kind of came in on the tail end of things, but the question that was in the air was, how can we get people on social media to actually come to church and actually look at meaningful things. Now on Instagram and Twitter and Snapchat, I know there are a lot of distractions, and my point was to one of my mentors that I was talking to. His name is Mario Badger. I was talking to him and I said, I don't think social media is the way to go, because you have to scroll through a whole bunch of distractions in order to get to one meaningful post. And about time you get to that one meaningful post, you're distracted by everything else you saw, and that's all you see. So I didn't think social media was the best way or the best platform, but then I had to think about it and say, okay, what, social media, it is a platform, but it's how people use it, and you have to use it the right way in order to get your message across. So what we want to do on social media is we want to open up to people. We want people to ask questions. We want people to even give answers, because even myself, I don't have all the answers. So even myself, if you do have an idea, or if you do have something to say, don't be afraid to say it. And that's our whole point on social media. If you do want to post something that's meaningful on social media, you can. A lot of times on these platforms, people show the good side of life, but not always, the actual life part, because life is hard, and you take a lot of more losses than wins in life. So we want to show the real side of life and not just the good things of life. So on social media, there's this big question on whether we can get our point across to people. And so what we want to do by starting off with this podcast, and also just giving people just inspirational quotes and inspirational videos as well, We just want to give people that information or give people that hope on social media. So we want to kind of get away from the the fashion and all the boasting and all the gloating, and we want to give people something real. That's what we want to give people. We want to give people something real, and it all starts with the youth. Like I mentioned before, man, we have a lot of people in Buffalo. I know a lot of people who are purposeful, man, who are purposeful, and we just have to be unafraid. You have to be unafraid to go against the norm in this culture, and just say, you know what? All right, we have a plan, and we have to put that in effect. And we can't be afraid, man. And I believe that we can do it. I believe that we can do it just because, like I said before, we do have that favor, we do have that purpose, we do have that drive, and we have that creativity in order to affect other people. So as we go along with this podcast, just be ready. Just be ready to share, be able to just be ready to learn, be able to give as well. So we just want to give people some information on what Higher Society is about, and how they can contact us and reach us. Like I said before, if you do want to contact us, you can follow me on Instagram at Higher Society. And also, if you do want to reach one of my co-hosts, his name is Terrence McKissick. So if you want to reach him on social media, you can reach him at TJ McKissick. That's going to be MCKISSICK. TJ McKissick. You can follow him as well if you need more information. All right, and also I have another partner as well. She goes by the name of Anita. So if you ever want to contact her, you can contact her on social media at Anita Joe. I believe it's _ Anita Joe. So you can check her out on there as well. So we're not going to get into too much more because I don't have my partners in crime here with me. But I just want to say thank you to everybody who listened, who's getting ready to hear what we have to say. And I just hope that people can just take what we have to say, take it for jewels, take it for gems, and not just another podcast, because we don't want to be that. So all right. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I want to give a special shout out to David once again for letting us come through to his studio and letting us record. Stay tuned for much more, much more, and not just a podcast. We got music on the way. We have theater on the way. So just be ready to check us out, man, because we're on a whole different type of wave, man, and get ready for the storm. All right. So I thank everybody for tuning in. Once again, I am Joshua. Go by the name of Jay Young. I appreciate everybody. See you soon. See, well, I can edit that. I can edit it. Is there any way to play it back through here?
Yeah, I can play it back.
Okay.